Hello and welcome. I'm really excited to have you here and dig in. Hello and welcome to Scale Smarter with AI. I'm really excited to have you here. I can't wait to dig into exactly what scaling means because most people get it wrong, and how to implement AI, when to implement AI, and how to do it well so that you don't lose your shit. The reason I'm so excited is because I've been where you are. I'm Veronica Kieran. I'm an anthropologist, coach, and founder of Asterisk Women's Health, also known as Asterisk DAO. We're a Web3 startup, and it's not my first. It's been quite the journey. For 15 years, I've been helping founders and leadership teams scale their operations sustainably from Web3 startups to AI labs. This is because I myself burnt out from my first company and I want to help stop the cycle. This session is not about using AI and not to just work faster or work better or work harder, whatever you think your goal is. It is about reclaiming your time. Because let's be honest, you've done the hard part. You've built something really amazing, something that works, something you're probably really proud of, that your team is proud of, that you're getting accolades for. And it felt really good at the beginning. Like the first year feels amazing. And then things started going downhill, right? Instead of feeling spacious, it's feeling heavier. You're hiring more people because you think you need to, and you're bringing in more and more tools, but the calendar is worse than ever. You're not sleeping at night. You feel frazzled, and you're sort of low key starting to fantasize about burning it all down. You might be wondering, if AI can automate half of my job, why am I still exhausted? So if you're already using AI, it doesn't seem like it's actually helping. Am I right? So that's what we're going to unpack here. And that's what I want to alleviate for you. So here's the truth, what I see again and again in my work. Most founders try to fix overwhelm with tools, not thinking. So they see a problem and they throw something at it, usually something shiny, something that's popular right now, which hell, AI is hot. It's hotter than hotcakes. And so it seems like, well, everyone's talking about it. So if I just do this, it'll get better, right? And then you've automated before you had clarity as to what was actually even wrong. And so, if your leadership habits and your communication or your ops structure or anything that's really foundational to the company is broken or not operating optimally, then AI will only amplify the chaos. And that's why I say don't scale the noise, scale the clarity. Unfortunately, I fully recognize that it can feel very much like you don't have time for clarity. I hear constantly that there just isn't space for taking this step back and for doing the review, doing the necessary audit. Typically, when I start working with a client, the first thing I ask them is, what would happen if you took a 1 week vacation? And they lose their shit. They panic. And that to me is the biggest indicator that something is massively wrong within the company, because you should be able to go away for a week, for even a month, and not have the company fall apart. So I want you to take that second and think about this. What would happen if you took a vacation? Like starting next week, you've got only a couple days to plan. Could you do it? I think we both know the truth. If this looks familiar, you're not alone. You feel like you're constantly chasing fires, things are burning, including your own hair. You feel like you are always on your toes, that something comes across your plate that you weren't expecting, and you have to dive in. So your team can't even operate without you. And they are constantly asking you, what do I do about this? What do I do next? How do I make this work? Even if it's something they've done before. I mean, how much does that drive you crazy? If your team asks you for help on something they've already done, problems. The endless firefighting means you're solving surface level problems each time the fire comes up instead of getting to the root cause. Reactive decisions happen when everything feels urgent, but nothing is prioritized. So we're kind of talking about the Eisenhower matrix, understanding what actually needs to receive attention when that's an art form. Have you learned it maybe? And what happens when vision outpaces communication? So your team starts to go into a cycle. They understand that something brilliant is happening. That's why they've joined you. So please do not fear a mutiny. They love you. They are with you, but they want to be able to function well, and they're not able to. And so then they're circling that drain with you, and then you're going crazy and they're going crazy. It's a very fun ride, right? So the fix, I promise, is not another sprint. It's going to be a shift in your leadership, and it is truly possible. I promise, because I did it for myself and I do it for my clients all the time. Okay, so this false belief that AI will give you your time back. We've already touched on this a little bit, that if I just throw tech at the problem, it'll find a way forward, it'll get better. There's a quick fix somewhere, right? Especially if you're in the United States, the quick fix ideal is rampant. I grew up in the USA. I really understand that sentiment that just let's just make it better and then it's better. But usually it takes more work than that, right? I once saw this comic that said, "I want AI to learn to do my laundry, not the work that I love." And it really resonated with me because we teach AI ourselves. So AI is only going to reflect what you've already given it. And a lot of times we give it just what's closest to our faces, what feels like really, really urgent, rather than what artistically, right? So like running a business is an art form, artistically should be offered it. So yes, it's tongue in cheek, but AI can give you your time back only if implemented properly. Otherwise, it will generate more work creep, not freedom. And I know you don't want that. I've watched founders try to implement AI while they're in that sense of chaos without first reviewing the systems what systems they have. They might not even have systems. So if you have systems, congratulations, because you're ahead of many entrepreneurs. And if you don't have systems, it's okay, because they can be built at any era of the business. But if you don't take the time to audit them, then what you're giving AI is literally just the chaos. I know you're probably thinking, audit, busy work. You have better things to do. I understand that, but you don't. There is nothing more important than leading a team that is scalable and a business that attracts success you envision. And I really mean a team that is scalable. If you implement AI as a reaction, it will take that chaos and run with it, and then you'll just have more of the same. It won't be great. On the flip side, when founders bring that awareness, so like conscious strategic attention to how they work, and then artfully layer AI into the mix, something magical happens. They start to see where the time is leaking first, and then they can understand where it's best to delegate, to shore up what is weak in the organization, then develop the systems that support what you're working towards rather than suffocating the organization, because eventually more chaos is just going to put out the fire for everybody. It's It will erode the beautiful thing that you've created. It can only supercharge a healthy system. So think of AI not as your amplifier, or think of it as your amplifier, but it's not an architect. It just it it's not your therapist. It can't do that for you. We have to do the work first in order to make it brilliant for you. So, to go into a case study, I'd like to tell you about one of my colleagues. I worked alongside a CEO of $1 million crypto studio. So from the outside, everything looked perfect. I mean, how many of us want to shake a hand and be like, "Hello, I am the founder of $1 million company"? Yes, of course. But it wasn't. Internally, he was exhausted. He lost his grip on his team, and he was micromanaging in order to try to fill the gaps that he had left, but that he couldn't see. Right? So this is where an audit becomes really important. Eventually, he burned out and also burned down the company. Can you imagine $1 million of burnout? Your burnout is so severe that you will sacrifice $1 million a year for it. That's bad. That's bad, bad, bad burnout. So what went wrong? He scaled the company's tech, he scaled the people, and he scaled the reach, but he didn't scale his leadership systems, which are the foundation. This is literally where the company begins, is with him. And so by the time he was looking for help, he did actually start to low key ask me questions, but it was too late. I know I could have helped him because I've worked with CEOs doing 20 million in order to help them scale their leadership, in order to bring the company forward. But he was just individually on a personal level beyond hope. And so he decided to kill the company instead of try anything resembling coaching. So that's the difference between growth and sustainable scaling. One is shiny, right? Growth, like let's get those big tickets. It's shiny. And the other, sustainable scaling, will last. So, do you want that spike, or do you want something that you can keep going? Do you want $1 million a year once, or $1 million a year over and over again? Unfortunately, most founders only think of expanding reach when they think of scaling, and end up backing themselves into a corner just like he did. So when I'm talking about scaling and we're talking about implementing AI, we're not talking about scaling your marketing. We're talking about you and what happens inside the company. So here's my framework in a nutshell. First of all, we need to audit the system and start repairing it. So clear processes, align responsibilities, get yourself and how everything streamlines from you in order. Then we can strengthen your leadership. That includes how you make decisions, how you manage your energy, work-life balance, anybody? And how you communicate that vision, right? There's a difference between envisioning, and dumping on your team. You probably have done both. I've done both. I know the difference between sharing a vision and guiding forth and just dumping, and the latter doesn't help. Only after reviewing the systems and repairing the leadership does AI come into the mix. The AI then amplifies what started to work well, and then we automate what isn't worth your brain power or your time. But we don't know what that is until we have taken a firm look at your company and at your leadership. Okay. I become kind of like your best friend because I'm going to know your dirty secrets. And we do have a confidentiality clause because of that. I have to be embedded, basically becoming your personal board of directors, your personal advisory committee, in order to help you do this. The order, systems, then leadership, then AI, is non-negotiable. It's embedded in the DNA of my 3 pillars of business scaling. That's what I'm known for, is scaling ops so that the business can live without you and you can take a vacation. Uh, and unfortunately, most leaders and teams do it backwards, which is why they stay in chaos. So they try to go with tools and shiny things first, and then try to get back to their leadership and systems. And by then, they're literally tumbling down a mountain instead of building the mountain. So, no, just no. Okay, so here's what you can do today, right? Like, we want you to be able to walk away from this conversation to be able to take steps. So, first, I want you to audit where your energy is actually going within the company. You know what they say is like what you measure, you can change. I guarantee you will be surprised. You are certainly spending time on things that you shouldn't be, and a lot of it. Um, just as an example, I live by inbox zero. So my email takes me up to a half hour a day, and I do not allow it to take more. So if for some reason I have more than what I can do to get to inbox zero that day, I shut it down. One Pomodoro, that's it. That's all emails allowed to take of my time because my time is more valuable. You are the founder. Your time is the most valuable in the company. That's why they pay you the big bucks. So you're going to discover that your time and your focus is probably being spread places that it shouldn't be. And most likely, to be honest, there are going to be some false beliefs in there. I regularly unpack and reveal those where I have a client who really firmly believes that X, Y, or Z is exactly what they should be doing when either automation, a system, or another human could be doing it for them faster and better. So be honest with yourself as much as you can in that initial audit. Then you can start to automate what is aligned. So, like the things that you really ought to be keeping within your company. Feel free to take out the trash. It's okay to throw out what's not serving you, and your team will respect you for it. So they're not going to wonder, like, what the heck, like they're not going to diss you. They're going to appreciate it, and they're going to feel like they, through that same humility, can do the same for their own work. They're going to ask you, how did you do that? And how do I do the same? How do I work faster and smarter, not harder and longer, right? We want to automate anything that doesn't require your unique brilliance. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. I burned out in my first company because I believed I was truly and factually the only person that could do what I was doing. I was an anthropologist and a technologist. I did not believe that I could find somebody who had the result of those traits. So I had the false belief that an anthropologist and technologist was unique. I didn't look at the fact that those traits ended up becoming something else. And in fact, I did find somebody eventually who had the traits that I needed for my clients in order to start to scale. So there are things that really, truly are your special formula, what makes you you, but they're probably not what you think. Do the best you can. Those things you will keep for yourself. We will automate the rest. We're going to automate ruthlessly, but only after we've thrown away what you don't need, only after we've taken out the trash. And finally, protect your creative time. Your creativity, whether or not you believe it, is what created this company. You had that moment in the middle of the night where X, Y, and Z went together, and you were like, "Holy shit! I think I can make a company out of this. I think we could do this." That is where the visioning is going to continue to come from. That's the difference between Steve Jobs and the guy who is just getting by every single day at his desk job. Okay. Your creative energy is what drives innovation, vision, and strategy. So if you lose that, all the AI in the world will not save you. So protect it. Block time on your calendar and do not let anyone get to it. So if any of this has resonated with you whatsoever, and you're wondering where your system or leadership might be misaligned, I offer a free 30-minute performance audit. I've already alluded to it. We're going to do the audit together. You're going to walk away with what's going wrong, where the problem is, and how to fix it. Okay. So it's not a sales call. It's a strategy session because I am surely passionate, if you haven't noticed, about helping leaders get themselves back into a place where things are working, where they don't feel like there are fires, and where they can take some time off maybe. We'll review your operations, we'll take a look at your leadership rhythm, and we will take a look at your AI usage because I know you're already using AI. Do not tell me you're not. You already are. But are you using it well? We'll pinpoint the immediate opportunities to save your time and reduce chaos, and you'll walk away with a sense of finally being able to see the forest for the trees again. So scan the QR code that takes you directly to my calendar, because the truth is, leadership isn't about doing more, it's about knowing where to focus, having the systems, the people, and the AI to make it possible. They are all a package that move the company forward and help your brilliance grow. I would love to help you get there. So again, please scan the QR code. It will take you right where you need to be, and you can get directly on my calendar. No gimmick, no barriers. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this was useful for you, and I really look forward to digging in with you. Have a great day.